We on? You starting? I guess it just goes when it goes. Okay. Okay. So in the school committee race, we have 4 candidates vying for 2 available seats. Joining us tonight are Brendan Bailey, incumbent Stephen Mendoza, and Tina Zapantis. Jennifer Scalise, who was supposed to be here tonight, had a work emergency and is unable to attend. The good part of that is I do not have to read her statement because it came up. That's Mr. Martin's statement was very good. It was just very hard to get it in 2 minutes. So the format's going to be pretty much the same as we did for the Board of Selectmen, with one little difference. You'll have 2 minutes for an opening statement. There'll be 4 questions. The first question has been submitted by the Student Council at Clinton High School, and then we'll have 3 questions that we worked up. Each question will allow for 2-minute responses and then a 2-minute closing statement. Again, we'll do this in alphabetical order, and we almost go all the way from A to Z. We go from B to Z. With Mr. Bailey, we'll be starting. So. We begin with you, Mr. Bailey, and your opening statement.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Brendan Bailey, and I'm a candidate for the school committee. First off, we would like to thank the school department for providing the venue, the Clinton item for hosting this. I'm a lifelong Clinton resident. My parents grew up, my parents graduated from Clinton High School. My grandparents, my children have graduated from Clinton High School. I went off to join the Marines, and I was in the Marine Corps for 30 years. I retired in 2014, knowing all along that I was coming back here. I obviously came back over the years on vacation. My son is a 5th grader at the middle school now, back in the Clinton school system, and I'm employed by the town as the veterans officer here in Clinton. I can tell you straight out, I know it's not going to be easy over the next couple of years, and I know the budget seems to be the big thing, but there's the budget, there's the school choice, there's the athletic program, the extracurricular activities, the facilities. The middle school is aging. And with my experience in the Marine Corps, I can tell you if there's tough decisions to be made, I can make them. And more importantly, when I make a decision, I'll stand by it. And if I'm elected, I meet with the members of the board, and I have my opinion. If I'm outvoted, and that's a decision going forward, I will support them. I will never, ever use social media to question an issue or bring forth a problem. If I have an issue or a parent brings something to me, I will go to the superintendent. That's my role, is to go directly to the superintendent, say, here's what I heard, and he'll get to the bottom of it and let me know, and I'll go back, or he can let the parent know. But you don't solve problems by identifying them and going on social media and taking a pot shot at someone. You solve problems by going to the individual, whether it's the school department or if it's something with the town administrator, the selectman, and I'm the interactive person. I'll go in there and talk to them and bring back the answer. That's what I can promise you if you elect me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mendoza.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. I would also like to thank the item at Clinton High School, of course, for sponsoring this tonight's candidates night. So for those people who do not know me, my name is Stephen Mendoza, and I am seeking re-election for the Clinton School Committee. I grew up in this town I grew up in Clinton. My wife and Gladys and I have chosen to raise our 3 children here, 2 of which have graduated from Clinton High School and 1 who currently attends. I attended St. John's Elementary School and graduated from Clinton High School myself back in 1978, just a couple of years ago. I later went on to attend Fitchburg State College and graduated with a bachelor's degree in business with a concentration in management. I'm currently employed by the Trial Court of Massachusetts as a juvenile probation officer, so I understand a lot of the issues that happen in society with our young kids and things of that nature. So there's a lot of challenges there, but together we can work together to get that accomplished. Prior to that, I worked in management in many supervisory positions with a 20-year career at Nipro Inc. When I started there right after high school also. In addition to that, I was commissioned officer in the Army National Guard, of which I held various platoon section leader and executive officer positions for both armored and mechanized infantry battalions during my time of service. So that experience is also valuable for leadership to make those tough decisions, as Mr. Brendan Bailey alluded to himself. The military is a good experience for everybody. As a public servant for my hometown, I volunteered numerous hours on school council and hiring committees prior to being elected to the school committee in 2011. I also was elected to the Board of Selectmen and served 2 terms from 2001 to 2007, which gives me the municipal side of the school committee, which helps, in balancing the budgets and all these things. Prior to that, I was a member of the Board of Trustees for Clinton Hospital, and I served in the building committee for the Clinton Senior Center. I believe my private sector work experience, military background, public work, and municipal experience will provide me with the skill sets and qualifications needed to make me a well-rounded school committee member, which is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before Ms. Pantis, I just want to say two things I didn't say at the beginning that I should say, but you've done. You'll want to look up occasionally as you're talking at Jan Gottesman, the editor of the item, who is doing timing. She'll let you know at the 30-second and the stop. The other thing is your microphone, when this is on YouTube, but some of the people in the back may not hear you. So try and use your outside voice when you're speaking. So, Mr. Pantis, your opening statement.
Good evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tina Zapantis. I've been in the supply chain industry for about 25 years, and I currently work as a supply chain planner for NP Medical right here in Clinton. I've previously served from 2007 to 2016 on the Clinton School Committee. So I've been away from it for about a year, and I miss contributing. My intentions for running this year are the same as when I first ran, and that is to be a team member as part of this board to help the betterment of the Clinton school system, to help it run more efficiently and more effectively. It is the school committee's job to set the educational goals and objectives of a district, and then to provide the support that's needed to allow our administrators to achieve those goals. And I feel my experience supports my potential as a worthy candidate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I said we would start with this question from the students, and that first question will go to Mr. Mendoza. So this was from the Student Council at Clinton High School, and their question is, whose interests should matter in the governance of a school district, and in what ways should they matter?
It's a very good question. And I think the answer to that question is what matters is the students of our district. We're here to support our children no matter what the circumstance. It's difficult a lot of times due to the fact of budget constraints and things of that nature. Though we should never let budget issues, get in the way of education for our children. Every child that we have is important. No one should be different than another one. We should try to provide the same education for every single one of our children that go here, whether it's from kindergarten to high school. We need to make sure that we do the best. We need to advocate for them all the time, constantly, to make sure they get the best education so when they go out to the real world, whether it's the military, whether it's college, whether it's the private sector, they're prepared. And we need to make sure that we owe that to our children in our community. But a lot of people like to say the children are our future. I disagree with that. The children are our present. They're going to set the future, but they're present, and we need to take care of them now. So to answer the question, I think our children are very valuable, and that's what's important right at this point. We're hired to advocate for the children.
Thank you very much. Ms. Pantis.
I think the perfect recipe for a very successful school system involves 4 parts: the administration, the teachers, the children, and the parents. Just like when you're baking a cake, all the ingredients have to be good to get a good final product. To stress one importance over the other, of course, the focus here is the education of our children, but you really need those 4 ingredients to make it successful.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey.
Well, I think the easy answer is always, it's going to be that the students come first, and that is the answer. But as when we have the restraints like the budget and other school choice and so forth, it's not a quick fix. And to simply say, we're going to take care of the students, but we've been saying that, and I've been back here in Clinton now 3 years, and every year I hear the sports programs are losing money, but I haven't seen anyone come up with a solution. I believe, and I've talked with people, I believe we could offer sports and extracurricular activities to students for free. Instead of making a family have to make that choice that, hey, I'm going to play baseball, but I can't afford to play football or so forth because I just can't do it. I believe we can do that. And when we say the students come first, we got to give them, it's not just the classroom stuff. What I would offer the students is on Fridays or the last day of the week, whatever their last class is, I would ask that teacher to spend 10 minutes and talk about some safety issue that they could run into that weekend. hey, this week, on social media, we always see people take pictures, they put on social media, and they don't never think. You're 17, 16 years old, and you think, what could happen? And you see what happens. To take care of each other when they're out. Hey, this weekend is a holiday weekend. Don't get in the car with someone that you shouldn't be with. Just touch on that little extra. Set them up for success, like Mr. Mendoza said, when they leave here, whatever way they go. When they walk out the doors of Clinton High, we've given them everything they can, and it doesn't cost anything. To spend 10 minutes and say, hey, listen, or bring someone in that has made that mistake. Listen, this is what I did. I think it's good. I think my son has gone back to school here. We returned here in 2014. And he's gone through the school system, and the support, the faculty, the teachers, it's been great. I have no complaints. It's been awesome, and I just think we can do a little bit more to set them up for success as they walk out the door. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, this next question, we'll start with Ms. Sepantis. What's the biggest issue affecting the school district, and why are you the right person to help address it?
Well, the biggest issue, of course, is always funding. We know that Clinton is somewhat at an economic disadvantage where we do rely a lot on state monies. And every year we give a wish list. I know this year the school budget was asking a little bit over 5%, and it looks like they're going to end up getting around 3%. And this can mean, positions being cut, fewer textbooks, different classes not being offered. And tough decisions need to be made. I've done it for 9 years. And I can guarantee that when we do make those decisions, I always put the education of our children as a priority, and I don't sacrifice the responsibility that we have to the taxpayers to use the monies that we do have to get the absolute most out of the Clinton Public Schools.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bailey.
Well, yes, I agree that the budget, and it's not just the school, the entire town, as we heard earlier with the selectmen, the budget's going to be a challenge going forward for everyone. But one of the things that concerned me when I was looking at the numbers when I put in my nomination papers was the amount of students that are leaving Clinton for school choice. Now, I get it that some of them, if they're going out, say, to a religious school, a Catholic school, we can't offer that here, and I get that. But I think I looked at the numbers, and I think it was 117 students right now are leaving Clinton. I have not, again, I've been back here 3 years, but even when I came back on leave or vacation over the last 30 years, I have never seen anything asking them why. Is there something that we, that we can't offer? If it's something we can't offer, fine, hey, you know what, good luck. But we're sending, you look at some of these students, and they're going off to other schools, and they're finishing the top 10% of their class. They're doing great in sports. How come we're losing them? No one's asking that question. And I don't agree with watching them walk out the door and then putting an ad in the paper would say, well, let's go to Fitchburg or Worcester and ask them to come here. That's costing us money. And I know the numbers, you scrunch the numbers, say, no, we're making the same amount, but believe me, we're not. And it's not just the money. We're losing talent. We're losing those kids from Clinton that should be here in Clinton. And I just like to ask them, hey, is there something we can do? Is there something you want? And I think we should do that with the seniors when they walk out the door. And in your time here in Clinton, what was the best? If we could have taught you one thing or offered one course, what was it? And try it. What's the worst that can happen? As I said to you, if I make a decision, I'll live by it. If we offer a class or offer a solution that doesn't work, we say, okay, we tried it, let's try something else. But what we're doing now is we watch 120, 117, 115 kids walk out the door. We're not doing anything. Let's take a step and find out and bring them back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mendoza?
Thank you very much. I think it's a two-part question. It's not a simple answer as to what the biggest problem is. It's a multiple things of issues or challenges, better said. I think funding it's difficult because you have to balance the municipal side of budgeting with the school side of budget while we take care of our children. I think as Mr. Bailey mentioned, school choice is important. Like this is the first year that we actually are losing kids. We're losing money now, to put it bluntly. So we need to figure out a way how to keep those kids here. And talking to parents and talking to people that I know, a lot of kids are leaving for technology, going to the aspects of the world, the Monty Techs of the world. So we need to kind of start looking back at how we bring back those technologies back into our school district. When I was a kid, I remember we had shop, we had mechanical drawing, we had those things, not too long ago. So we got to reinvent the wheel. We have to bring those things back. We have to engage our kids. We got to find out why they're leaving. Some people, and we're going to get answers sometimes that we're not going to like, but you know what? We need to understand what those ask the hard questions and get the real answers. If we can do that, we can effectively manage the school, how we can control that stuff. So funding's important. We got to balance that because you got to take care of the municipal side also. You got to balance all these things. But we should never sacrifice the education of our children. It's critical. So we have to continue to work on that and find out why they're leaving. So we do agree on something. There is some common ground between all of us. So thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question will start with Mr. Bailey. With a new superintendent, the school committee is starting a new chapter. What direction would you like to see the school district take for the next 3 years, and what part would you play in guiding it?
Well, first off, I'm excited. This is a perfect time, and it's kind of one of the reasons I put in my nomination papers for the school committee. Just you've got new ideas, and when Dr. Meyer gets here, which I honestly believe was the right person for the job. I think they did a good hire. He'll going to come in with his ideas, and myself, I have my ideas, and I think one of the important things I've learned over the years is the school committee, you don't have to agree. The 5 members of the school committee, along with the superintendent, when they get together, they don't have to agree. But when they make a decision, then they have to agree. You go out the door and you say, okay, that was the decision we're going to make, and I'll support Dr. Meyer. Because I tell you, when he comes in, and I've worked for a lot of bosses over the years, and when the boss comes in, he's going to make changes. And there's going to be those that welcome change and embrace change, and there's going to be those that don't want change. And I think one of our roles is to support him. Because when he gets this pushback, and I heard someone in the selectmen's meeting say it earlier, that's the way we do things. That's always the way we've done things here. Well, that's not going to might not be his way, and he's the boss. And I think we should support him. He tries a new idea, and it works, great. And if it needs to be changed a little bit, we'll change it. If it doesn't work, we'll try something new. So I look forward to that. Like I said, I can make a tough decision, and I look forward to working with him. And that would be the one I would, again, when I said about our role, what I would work with. I would never go around him. If someone brought something to me, I would never go around him to whether of his teachers, to another member of his faculty, or to a student, because there's usually 2 or 3 sides to a story, to an issue. I would go to Dr. Meyer, say, Steve, this is what I heard, let him look it up, come back to me, and then we'll move on from there. But I do look forward to new ideas, and to me it's a perfect time because I'm new too. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mendoza.
Thank you. So making tough choices, that's a good thing, because, and like Mr. Bailey said, we don't have to agree on everything. And I think this search for the superintendent, we didn't agree on everything. But you're right, we do agree on this. Whenever you make a decision, and whatever the outcome of the vote, you need to support the people you hire, bottom line. So, and I think I believe I said that very clearly when we did that hire, that we need to be supportive. I think it's great that we have a new superintendent. It's going to bring new ideas, different ways of doing things. And again, communication is going to be key, because without that communication, you can't make things happen. I believe that our role as school committee members is to be policymakers and to provide leadership for our superintendent. So again, if something's happening, if somebody comes to us, we need to address that with the superintendent. Mention to him, here's what's going on. There should never be any surprises. We shouldn't go around. We shouldn't be talking to other people. We should talk to the superintendent and let him deal with the situation of running the school. So we got to work together as a team. Working with all the board members need to work together, and we need to work together regardless whether you disagree or don't agree. And it's a team effort. Without a team effort, you're not going to accomplish anything. You got to do it. I've been doing this for a little bit now, and without communication and teamwork, nothing gets done. And if you start bickering among each other, it's not going to work. You got to learn to respect each other, and you're not always going to agree, but you have to respect each other. And if you can do that, we can be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cervantes.
Well, I'll take this opportunity, seeing we're on the subject of superintendent, to first of all thank Terry Ingano for his many years of service to the Clinton School Department, and to wish him all the best on his retirement. I happened to be in another town near Athol shortly after the decision was made to hire Dr. Meyer, and the woman that I happened to be sitting with was an employee of the Athol School Department, and she had her little first grade daughter with her. And she expressed her dissatisfaction with us that we kind of stole their superintendent, because she was very thrilled with him, and she turned to her daughter, and the little first grader was sad that Dr. Meyer was leaving. And I just thought that really spoke a lot about who he was, that a first grader knew him by name. Of course, it's our job to work with the new superintendent. I know Dr. Meyer has already spent numerous days in Clinton. He's met with teachers and parents and the students to make his transition here that much easier. I was glad to see that the contract that was signed with him is incentivized based on improvements that we want him to make. And I think if we set realistic goals for him, that we can look forward to that improvement being made. And I do look forward to working with him.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next question, we'll start with Mr. Mendoza. There seems to be an information gap at times. Families take children out of the school district for school choice, and many times don't get asked why. During the superintendent search, residents apparently emailed the committee, but oftentimes those emails didn't get read in a timely manner. What is your plan to be more open with listening to constituents and getting input in the direction of the school district, including getting the information needed to close the school choice gap? And I think a couple of you have already mentioned that tonight.
Thank you. It's a good question. It's not an easy answer for that one, but we've all alluded to it. Communication is key. I think it's important that we at least for me, I'm available. I'm always out in the community, whether it's a sports game or a school event. Because I have kids in the school system, so you have to work together with everybody. You gotta talk to this. We need to update our systems too. That's why we invested a lot of money in technology, and I think things are getting better. I agree. We have to make our website, and we started the marketing committee at the ball from the committee. Has been driving that, and we're working together with that to get people to work together, to try to use our website, make our website easier, so people are not necessarily going to Facebook to get all their information. We got a link on the Facebook also on the website now. So there's a lot of things that we need to continue. We need to continue to reinvent the wheel and keep talking to superintendent. When something's missing, talk to our technology people. We hire some more people for that, but we need to continue to improve that. Because without that technology, we can't make it happen. It's not always money. People think it's, you throw more money. You don't always need to throw money at stuff. You can just buy better equipment, understand what you're getting, and not just do things on the cheap. You gotta continue to build that infrastructure. But and I will continue to talk to superintendents, talk to principals, make sure they understand how important it is. And we do a good job here. We do a fairly good job. I think we get some bad rap sometimes for that, but I think in the last couple of years we've improved that. Is there room for improvement? Sure there is, and we need to work on that. So it's CIT, continuing improvement team. So we need to continue to do some of that stuff. So just got to continue to work together, and maybe getting direct emails to us so we can send those emails directly to the superintendent. But you got to be careful with that, because then it does become that we don't start doing things ourselves, but send it to where it needs to be, which is the superintendent, and support the superintendent when he makes those decisions. And we're going to agree sometimes, and sometimes we're not going to agree.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Cervantes.
Well, first off, I think no matter how hard we work here and no matter how many things that we do right, we are always going to have parents and children who decide to go elsewhere for their education, and I absolutely respect anybody's choice to do so. I do think what we can do a better job at here in Clinton is to really form more marketing initiatives to spotlight the well-rounded education that you get here in Clinton. We are all about diversity here. If your child goes to school here, chances are they're friends with someone who speaks another language. They're learning new customs. They're learning things that they're going to take out into that 21st century workforce and be able to help them with that. We have very tough grading policies here. To get on the honor roll is not easy. Our National Honor Society has a very extensive portfolio of personal essays and recommendations. Clinton is such a nurturing community. The Excel Club right here at the high school is one of the biggest service organizations in our school. Our teachers are vested. The community supports us. The Rotary Club sponsors our National Honor Society. We have the NIPRO First, which is just an outstanding program for robotics. LCU is here in our schools. The Russian icons in their 6th grade art icon show, if you've ever gone to that, it's fabulous. We do our senior citizen social, which is an intergenerational opportunity for our kids to have. The Historical Society sponsors us, and then the numerous scholarships that this community gives out. I just think we need to do a better job in showing everybody what Clinton does and the opportunities that we give our kids. We have a very unique environment here where your children can gain the wide variety of necessary tools to become a very successful citizen.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey,
Yes, can you please reread the question?
this is going to go into your time.
That's okay, that's it.
Just kidding. There seems to be an information gap at times. Families take children out of the school district for school choice and sometimes don't get asked why. During the superintendent search, residents emailed the committee, but sometimes those emails did not get read in a timely manner. What is your plan to be more open with listening to constituents and getting input on the direction of the school district, including getting the information needed to close the school choice gap?
Okay, well, first off, when you're talking about being accessible, one of the first things I did when I was hired as the Veterans Officer here in Clinton was I went to the town administrator and we print up business cards, and I have not only my work number on there and my email, but also have my personal cell phone on there. Now, that's a little bit different, I understand, but any vet that needed me, you know, you may not think it's important, but it's important to them, so they can reach me 24 hours a day. And if they, you know, whatever the issue was, and if I can handle it right then, if it's something that needs to be handled then, I would do it. If not, I'd say, hey, the next business day. Now, I wouldn't give out my personal cell phone to everybody in the school district, but I would give out my email, and I will answer them. And I won't go in, you know, unless it's over a weekend, I will get them an answer. If it's, hey, I'm going to get with the superintendent, I'll get back to you, and that's what I'll do. And I know I addressed the school choice earlier, but one of the concerns I kind of saw when I was looking at the school choice numbers is there's people that work for the school department and town employees that are sending their children out of town. So I don't know if how we can advertise the town any better when you're sending your own family or someone in your family is school choice and somewhere else. And again, I'm not faulting them. We need to ask them. You know, hey, this school is good enough for you to work at, and you're working hard here. You know, what are we not doing? What does your child need that they got to go somewhere else? And with communication, you know, whether it's the budget or anything, there's a all call, I guess, we get every Sunday night from the superintendent's office and also from the principal, Anne Marie Sargent. And it's great, you know, all the stuff that my kid forgot to tell me all weekend, then she tells me Sunday night. But we could do the same, you know, if people want to be on that list, they just tell them, and it's an automated call. And if it's something important, like it's the budget or everything, send it home with the child. You know, I think we owe a line item budget, and I know, again, it was brought up during the selectmen's thing. We owe a line item budget as soon as they're talking about it, it's in a draft, and send it home to the parents. Say, this is what we're looking at. And don't give them a scare tag, we're going to lose teachers. Tell them specifically, if we don't get this, this is what we'll lose. And be honest with them. And I guess I got to stop. Thank you.
Well, you know, with only 3 of you up here, we kind of flew through the 4 questions, so I'm going to throw in a 5th question that was submitted to us. We had a number of questions that were submitted to us from readers. But this is, considering we're talking about school choice, this is a good follow-up. So I had to sketch this out, who would go first, but Ms. Pantis, you will be the first on this question. It's basically, are you in favor of charter schools? Why or why not?
That is a great question. Once again, I will reiterate that very personal decision to send your child to another school. And charter schools do offer things that parents feel that their children will take advantage of. And if they feel they need to do that, then I absolutely respect that decision to do so. I do regret, though, that the charter schools take away funding from the public schools. And I think the charter schools have an unfair advantage. The selectivity process, even though it's not, you know, it's they will tell you that there is no selection process, that anybody can apply there, and that is true. However, when we talked about the perfect school mix, we talk about that it's the children and the parents. And you have to admit that charter schools are dealing with a uniformly more motivated student body. People who are in Clinton go to Clinton schools, Clinton public schools by default almost, because that's where you go. But people who are choosing to go to a charter school, that gives them almost like an unfair advantage, where I don't feel that it's fair to compare the charter with the public.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey?
Well, the short answer is yes. I think that a parent should have the decision-making, if you will, the flexibility to do it best what they think for their child. And if they think, and I gets back to, I think we should ask them, if there's something we can improve here to make you want to come back and make us more attractive. But if a parent decides they want to send their child to a charter school or a Catholic school or wherever they want to send, or homeschool, that should be their decision. That's their child, and they should do the best for them. Some children, function better or learn more in a more Catholic school, rigid environment, and some are more, and you need something more flexible. Whatever you feel for your better for your child, that nobody should dictate it. And if that's another avenue, to make them successful. But I would point to the, I think of this when I'm sitting here, the people that over the generations that have graduated from Clinton High School and gone on to do just amazing things in all walks of life, whether it's a business here in town or a business, everywhere I was stationed. I laugh, in 30 years in the Marine Corps, I ran into somebody from Clinton every place I went, including, I was in Japan and Afghanistan. I ran into people from Clinton. And I'm not making it up, but I know people can always tell their stories, and they're all doing great things. I was out on the West Coast, and Paul Sablock, who I think he graduated in the 70s sometime, is doing great things out there in real estate. I just happened to see his name in the paper when I was out there, living out there. So, me personally, I know my kid's going to graduate from, he's going to go to Clinton High School, hopefully graduate. and I'm proud to have attended here, and my family, my mother was a teacher, my dad was a teacher and a superintendent, so me personally, I'd rather be here, but if a parent wants to go to charter school or send their kid to a charter school, I say it's okay.
Thank you. Mr. Mendoza?
Thank you. Well, I think we're all going to be in agreement with this answer, I guess. But people have a right to send their kids wherever they want to send their kids. That's a very personal choice where you send your children. I happen to think that, like Mr. Sabanta said, it's not apples to oranges. This is two different things. For example, if some people wouldn't be able to get their kids to a charter school, if it's one in Marlboro, I won't mention the name, because they wouldn't be able to get a transportation to get there. There's no funding for that. So unless you have the means to get those kids there, I think it creates an unfair advantage for those kids. So we just got to figure out a way how we're going to make our school so much better that kids don't want to leave to go there. But some people choose to send the kids to a tech school. Some people choose to kids to parochial school. And those are very personal beliefs. So I'm not going to sit here and tell people or dictate to people where they need to send their children. But we need to make a real hard look and take a hard look and make a real group effort to make sure we help our kids want to stay here. But again, I don't think it's apples to oranges. The funding's a little bit different. In my field, in juvenile operations, I see charter schools and I see kids in the private schools, and there's pros and cons to both sides of it. So again, it's an individual choice where you want to send your kids. So I think we need to make sure that we keep our kids here and we work together to make our school the best possible school so they want to stay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, on to closing statements. We're going to start with Mr. Bailey.
Well, as I said when we started, I do want to thank the item and the school department for putting this on. I can tell you, as I said in the last question, both my parents were educators, and I know the challenges that the teachers face, and I know it's not easy. And I coach minor league baseball and youth football, and I have those children for a couple hours a week. So my hat's off to you. The challenges they face up here. I really believe when I know we keep talking about the budget, what I would like to see, and I would work with Dr. Meyer, is a short, a mid, and a long-range plan for everything: curriculum, the facilities, the budget. We can't just keep reacting. And I know we're talking about the number of school choice. And I read something where this year they're not going to be able to take as many because the class sizes are too big. It's too late now to start looking at that. I mean, we knew this all along. When you looked at the class, I mean, these children coming up to the middle school in the 4th grade, we should have known this back when they were in kindergarten and 1st grade. We need a long-range plan, and it's flexible, and it should be sent home to the parents. Here's what we see in 5 years, 10 years, and everything. Curriculum, sports. You can't wait till all the sports gear is falling apart and say, hey, we need a warrant article because we can't outfit these kids safely. So when you look at that, and then you could project it. And yes, things are going to happen, but you can't always react and wait to the bitter end. But and again, I do ask. I'm telling you, I'm here to make the tough choices. I'm going to be accessible. I will work with the members of the school committee, the superintendent, the parents, the students, and if you please, think of me and consider me for your vote on the 12th of June. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mentos.
Thank you. So as an advocate for the improvement of our beloved town, I have devoted numerous hours to our community. We are a very diverse community and have to celebrate that diversity. Our schools are here to serve the educational needs of all our children, not just some of them. My efforts as a board member would continue to center on serving all the children of the community. One child is no more important than another. As a school committee member, I have always believed that one should be responsive and receptive to parents, staff, students, and the community as a whole, encouraging an open dialogue. Communication is key. I will continue to take input from all groups and weigh all the facts in order to make an informed decision to benefit our community. If you don't get the facts and talk to everybody, you can't make an informed decision, so you have to continue to do so. During my tenure on the board, we passed numerous warrant articles which have benefited the schools in the town. We have resurfaced the track and long jump pits and have improved technology. I've also spoken to our town meeting for the benefit of all students when it was not popular. We have worked with the FinCom and the Board of Selectmen to present balanced budgets to the town. I do want to make, we alluded to, I don't think we've been reactive. Maybe in the past, we've been reactive. But I think this school committee has been proactive. When Tina was on board, we were proactive. The problem is, when we get to town meeting and talking to the FinCom and all the parties, all the stakeholders, you have to make decisions. And again, it's the whole town. So sometimes we have to make those cuts. And unfortunately, sometimes it has to be in this cut. But we've always worked diligently to only cut the necessary things. We've had parent volunteers that have stepped up to the plate, teachers to put in numerous hours when the budget isn't there. So I thank all those teachers in the public who always step up to the plate. On June 12th, I'm going to ask you to please vote experience, proven leadership, and qualifications, and I respectfully request your consideration for re-election to the Clinton School Committee. Thank you very much. I also want to thank my fellow candidates who, it's not easy to get up here and do this, so thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Van.
Yes, in closing, I just want to thank the item for allowing us this opportunity. I want to thank Mr. Bailey. Thank you for your service. And I know your father was superintendent when I was in school, so I know him very well, knew him very well. I had the pleasure of working with Steve for a couple terms on the school committee, and I thank you for your dedication to the town. Jen Scalise is a young mother, and she was a key advocate in our override. And I just want to applaud everybody who put themselves out there. Unfortunately, you only have 2 votes, but I'm sure whatever happens on June 12th that this board will be very well served. So I did truly enjoy my 9 years on the Clinton School Committee, and I would be honored to sit on this board again. My passion and dedication for this town and its children is evidenced by my strong community involvement and service record. I hope I have proven myself as a valuable team player and with a common sense approach to decision making. I would like an opportunity to serve another term, and I respectfully ask for your vote on June 12th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thank all the candidates. Also recognize again Jen Scalise, who was unable to attend tonight. Thank all the selectmen candidates who participated this evening. I hope this was an informative evening and hope it helps voters understand more about the various candidates. We want to thank Clinton High School for hosting us tonight. We want to thank the students in Paul Morrison's digital media class, even though there's no one over there, so I guess we want to thank the Student Council for providing a question to us, and everybody else who helped put this evening on. One last thing, please remember that the town meeting is Monday, June 5th, and the election is Monday, June 12th. don't forget to vote. Thank you all very much.